My name is Naveen Badrinarayan. I'm presently working with Dheya Career Mentors as a director of research and training. And my past is I've been in the Indian Navy for about 21 years. I'm a commander by rank. I served in the submarines and I'm a mechanical engineer by graduation, by qualification, if you can say so. I've done a lot of work on submarines, on submarine design, on technology and stuff. But last 5 years, I've been into this mentoring field where I've been training mentors. I've been working with youngsters, working with professionals and helping them do things which they would love to do. So it's been a very beautiful journey for me in the last 5 years. That's a little bit about me. But what I'm going to take you through a small journey of what this career is all about. Let me ask you, what makes a career extraordinary? First of all, let me ask, we are all parents here, right? As parents, what do you think is our, what do you call main duty, or what do you think is our values as a parent? Can I get some answers on the chat box? Let's make this more interactive. What do you think is the main value of a parent, or what is the thoughts in a parent's mind today as we speak, especially parents as us? You can use your chat box and you can chat there. Can I get some answers from you? As parents, what do you think are values? What is the main value of a parent? What is the main duty of a parent today? What do you think it is? Can you sum up some of them? Okay, let me share this slide. Okay, if I were to ask you what is my ultimate goal as a parent, guide the child. Now I'll tell you something, India is a very unique country, okay? It's very true to make our kids understand what is right and wrong for them. Best career as per his liking, take good care of the child. Wow, let them know their strengths. Amazing. I got a very intelligent audience out here. Parents are like a bow and children are arrows. We need to guide them in the right direction. Wow, you're like a bow and an arrow. You're going to pull them and throw them at some point. Okay, confused and concerned of the various options. I agree with you, Ashish. I totally agree with you. That's the status today of many children. Okay, raising a good future ready human. Wow, Arpita has brought out a beautiful point. Thanks for that. Provide an environment for the child to excel. Amazing. Okay, so if you look at the slide that I'm showing you, would you agree with me that in India, parenting is not a duty, it's a value. It's an amazing value, unlike the West where, it's after 18 years, the child is going to fend for yourself. India, we are parents are very emotional, very emotional. We look after our children, we even get them married. I mean, there's a lot of emotional connect as a parent with our child. So it's a big value for us. It's a big value. And that's something that, we need to be very clear about. The differentiation between what India or Bharat is and what the West is. There's a lot of difference, okay? But yes, it's about letting kids be themselves, okay? It's about letting kids be themselves. That's something that has come out from many of your answers here, okay? It's about letting kids feel respected, confident, and free to be themselves. Now, this is something that's very interesting because, when we look at the way we have been brought up and our schooling system and our education system and our society, somewhere, there is this push in the rat race. Everybody has to go and do engineering. Everybody has to go for this exam. Somewhere, are we letting our kids be themselves is a question that I leave you with, okay? Second thing is, how many times do we let our children know that they've got some natural gifts to succeed in life? How do we let them know that? Do we know it? Now, let's understand. It's about letting the kids know what natural gifts they are to succeed in life. And then, most importantly, the world of work is changing. We have all heard of this concept of VUCA, right? I think all of us are aware about it. The volatile, uncertain, chaotic kind of a world where everything is going to be changing. Continuous changes are going to happen. Nothing is certain. It is the world which has got immense possibilities. We can actually use this as an opportunity to guide our children. Okay, so that's something that we're going to talk about. Okay, ultimately, as a parent, I think everybody as a parent, we want our children to be happy in life. I think that's a statement which everybody will agree with me out here. Is it or not? And how can we do that? If the child has a extraordinary and a fulfilling career, I think that's going to happen. And that's what every parent wants. By the time the child was born in your house, till date, everybody wants their child to be happy, a very fulfilling career and an extraordinary career. Make something great of themselves is what is the wish and desire of every parent. I think nobody is going to argue on that point with me, right? We're all agreeing to that. But let's understand, what happens normally in our life. In our life, we have our child and we as parents are investing 18 years of life, money expectations, emotions, energy, efforts into developing our children through education, okay, so that they get the next 40 years right, fulfilling and satisfying. Am I right? So it's about 18 years of education just to get the next 40 years right. Now these 40 years of work life, and I'm telling 40 is an understatement because we all are pensionless generation. We are not going to get pensions. No corporate is going to pay pensions. And with what is happening, the economy is moving in a southward direction and we don't know how it's going to pick up from here on. So therefore, everybody has to stand up on their own leg and they have to keep earning money for them to live. So we have to make them capable for that. And these 40 years may extend to 45 or 50 years also because lifespans are increasing. People will be living till 85, 90 years. So that means people have to earn money for much longer periods of time. So therefore, if somebody has to work for so many years and all those working years have to be happy, fulfilled and extraordinary, we have to really think about what to do in these 18 years or what these 18 years are going to be. Are we only going to be focusing on the standard conventional 18 years of education? 5 years you enter into school and by 23 years you have finished your post-graduation. That's what we do. Are we going to only do that? Are we going to think about these 40, 50 years of work life and then decide what is to be done? Is a question, again a food for thought that I leave you with. Let's understand what makes a career extraordinary. Okay, everybody wants his child to be very happy, very fulfilled and wants to make the career extraordinary. So what makes a career extraordinary? Let's understand this. It's a hint. Career is not just academics and education. Now this is a big mistake which has been happening in India for many, many years. Moment you talk about career, it's about some entrance exam, it's about getting into a college, it's about getting into IIT, getting into IIM. Everybody, including the ministry, including CBSE, including NCRT, everybody talks about it. Career is equal to education. But it's more than that. It's not education. So what is it? It's something much more than that. Much, much more than that. Let's understand. It's about leading an extraordinary and fulfilling life. When I talk about life, I'm talking about the entire life. It is not about that education time that we're talking about. And it is not a linear equation that if I do education, therefore I'll get a good job, therefore my life is happy. Sorry, that equation was told to us when we were young, but it may not be true in the present world. It may be true, it may not be true. And we are risking our child's life if we believe that we'll follow this old story that degree, I'll get a good job and I'll be having a good career. May not be true. It's something more than that. Let's understand this. Now, if you look at an entire life of a kid, okay, I'm going to show this slide to you. It starts at 0 when the child is born and the first 5 years are blissful. Best years of life happen. Everybody appreciates the child. The child is a baby and a toddler. Everybody loves the child, okay? Anybody comes home, they appreciate, they play around, everything happens. Then the child enters into school and the child goes through a torturous time in the beginning part of life because the complete situation changes. Discipline and this and that, everything starts off. Then the child starts enjoying, makes friends, has a good time for about 10 years and then enters into higher education. But then when they enter into higher education, these children come under tremendous amount of pressure. What do I do after 10th? Which stream do I take? What do I select? All this tension is in the mind of the parents as well as the child and complete question marks. All the confidence that was there in the first 5 years goes down the drain. The confidence comes down. The self-worth comes down. Every child believes that I don't know whether I'm good enough to make it to the world of work. What can I do? And with these question marks and confusion in the mind, which is there today in every kid's mind, the moment the child reaches 9th standard, every kid is confused. I am sure 99% kids are confused. They have got a lot of options. Unlike us, in our times, there were only 4 options. Either you become engineer or you become doctor or you do chartered accountancy, or if you are completely useless in academics, take arts and do BA. So that was the narrative of our times. Now today's generation are over-informed. They got an information overload. But if you ask them what they want to do, they will tell you what they don't want to do, but they don't know what they want. That's the story of the present generation. Now in this kind of a confusion in the mind, the entire market jumps over and makes us parents scared. Everybody scares us. They tell us education nahi kiya to barbad ho jayega. If you don't study well, you will not get admission. Admissions are not available. Even schools are not giving admission. 11th standard admission is difficult. College admission is difficult. They all make us afraid and scared. And this fear marketing is so much that when we look at parents' faces, we sometimes feel, can I remove this tension from parents' face? And one of the reasons for conducting this webinar is to do that. I want to tell you, I want to reassure you that there are so many opportunities, so many possibilities. You need not be worried. There is enough and more available today. And anything that your kid does will do very well. And there is there is enough and more opportunities for education also, which nobody talks about. No newspaper, no article, no website is going to talk about the government institutions, the colleges, high value institutions which are not expensive and which are available to all parents. Nobody talks about it. Okay, why? Because they have to make money, and parents are the amount of investment that parents are making in education today is too much, is much more than what you would have done for your own education when you were young. Even if I take time value of money into consideration, even if I do that, the money that is being spent today is too much. And with that, why? Because parents are only aware about those few private options which are run by mercenaries. They're not aware of the high value education that is available in institutes like Indian Institute of Science, IISER, NICER, and so many more. Name the kind of course you want to do, there are enough options available, but nobody tells you. With all this confusion, people jump into education, okay? Because the market is scaring you, the market is making you afraid. There are cheap counselors who will drive you into do psychometric test and tell you to do art, science, commerce, engineering, MBA, and you jump into education thinking that you're taking the right decision, and you land up spending a huge amount of time, huge amount of effort, huge amount of energy. And imagine children studying 4 years of engineering, not knowing what they're going to do after that engineering. I want to ask you, how many of us are actually doing what we studied to do? How many of us? If I ask you, can I get a real frank and candid answer that whatever you studied, are you actually applying all that in your work today? Let me ask this audience the question. Please tell me, how many of you believe that whatever you studied in your graduation, post-graduation is something that you've applied? I'm a postgraduate mechanical engineer, and I know the kind of studies that I did. I was a topper in my course, and even today, I can solve differential equations, partial differential equations, integrations. I'm too good at it. I'm damn good at maths. But if you ask me, my 25 years working in the Indian Navy as a mechanical engineer, where did I use it? I don't know whether I used it at all. Now that's a big question mark. Now what is happening is everybody is jumping into education, and unlike our time, in our time the degree mattered. In our time, if you showed a degree to a corporate, somebody picked you up and you were there in a job, and we held on to our jobs. But today what is happening is at the end of higher education, the youngsters, and if I look at this 23, 24, 25, 26-year-old guys, all these people, the shocking part is 60 to 65% of them are not even working. They are at home. Not because job is not available, because they don't want to work, because they are only looking for the white collar job. They're not interested in taking up a job which is available, and they're not ready to work. So what are they doing? They are preparing for UPSC exams. They are preparing for this exam, preparing for that exam. They are not ready to go and work. And the remaining 30% who are working are unprepared to enter into the occupation. So they come after doing a degree and they come for an interview, and these people come and they have no knowledge about what happens in the work life. Absolutely no knowledge. Now, I have a comment here which says, I'm studying law, which I truly enjoy doing. Now, let me tell you, a lot of people get into law thinking that I like to talk a lot, so I'll get into law because I can speak well and I can convince people well. And that's a big misnomer. What happens is studies is one part, work is another part. What you study and what you work may not be connected at all, many times. So we need to be very clear about what is work all about. You're going to work for 50 years. Are we aware about the reality of that work life? Have we gone and checked it out? Have we gone and felt that market, understood what happens in that work, taken a reality check there, and then taken a decision to do studies? Then yes, then you're on the right path. If not, you're in a dangerous path. We know a lot of people who, after entering, especially when you get into the work life and you start exploring, because this is what people are doing today. 23 to 28 youngsters getting into jobs are exploring. They're not clear. They're absolutely not clear what they want in life. If you ask them, I want a good position in a company, I want to earn more money, that's it. They have no clear goal. They don't know what they want to achieve. And what they do is every 6 months, every 8 months, they change jobs. Just check out. Correct me if I'm wrong. In all your corporate lives, if you look at youngsters today, look at their resumes. When we were young at 23, 24, we took on a work and continued for a long period of time. We were stable by the age of 25, 26. Whereas today, the youngsters are changing jobs. They're jumping. They're trying this, trying that. A lot of trial and error is happening. Now what happens is when they start doing trial and error, can they achieve something great? Would they be able to achieve something great? It's very, very improbable, because if you're constantly shifting your job, will you have credibility? Will anybody trust you? Yes, everybody wants to be rich. Every child wants to be rich. But It's not just about rich. Rich will come, the money will come, but what is more important is what they want to become. That's no goal. That's absolutely no thought about it. And that is what creates this trial and error. And this is a time, 23 to 30 is an age of life where you're full of energy. When the energy is high, when you can work extra, when you can do great work, you're dancing around, you're shifting jobs. So what happens is when you keep shifting jobs, you reach a particular age and then your societal pressure comes to get married. Okay, you start getting into that pressure to get married, and then you start settling down in life in a new kind of environment, and then they start growing. So growth starts very late in today's day and age. So people start growing after the age of 30, 31, if at all they grow. So there's lesser time for growth, and then what happens is they hit their 40s, and when they hit their 40s, the company says, I can do without you, I'll hire youngsters, because they're cost cutting. And today the market is very, very tough. You know what the market is doing today? The market is not ready for people who are 40 and above. They want youngsters. So therefore, what is happening is, if you look at the entire generation, and India is supposed to be the largest working population in the world, and if the largest working population in the world is like this, where you have a confused generation at school and college, completely confused and underconfident, and then you have a dancing population in the young early career, and you have a frustrated population in the mid career. Where is this country heading towards? Unless, I'm not exaggerating, we are actually sitting on a time bomb. Was 10 years from now, we'll be the largest working youth in the world, and if this largest working youth is not employable, is not capable of standing up on their own feet and creating something new for themselves, I think we have lost it. And then we will have huge kind of problems. Like politicians are waiting to go and ignite the fire, because parents are spending a huge amount in education, and at the end of the education, if the return is not there, it is something that's going to be really irritating and frustrating for everyone. Now, this is what is happening in today's world, which I want to showcase to this audience, right? So what should you plan now? How should you go about it? Should you plan education or should you plan work life? My question to you, what do you plan? You listen to me, whatever is happening in the world, this is what is the status of the entire country today. Should you plan education or should you plan work life? Think about it. What do you think? Now, if I have to do this, if somebody has to plan work life, then how do you go about it? What is the way? How does one child who has got a plethora of options, somebody says, I want to be a businessman, somebody says, I want to be an entrepreneur, everybody wants to make money, everybody wants to do something, but not clear what to do. How do you decide that? What do you think should be the method of deciding that? How does any person take a decision saying, how do you decide a career for yourself? You've got plethora of options. Absolutely, Sonali is right. We have to focus on the work life, but how do you do it? And what is this work life all about? Unfortunately, what we have seen is people are completely unaware about work life at all. They don't know what is work life. To plan work life, you got to know it's a VUCA world. You're right. In a VUCA world, how do you decide your work life? It's a big challenge. It's not so simple. And what happens is the career counselor will tell you cheap psychometric test, and he will tell you do MBA, do engineering, do law, and you'll end up doing that education. Have you understood what that work life is going to be? Have you really understood whether your personality, abilities, interest is suitable for that? Ashish, that is the narrative which may be completely wrong. If you plan your education, for example, let me tell you Ashish's point here. He says, if you plan education well, then work life will be good. Let me challenge that particular hypothesis. Today, a person is doing automobile engineering, okay? Topper of the course. The automobile engine has completely changed. You're getting an electric engine now. What have you studied? You have studied connecting rods. You have studied machinery, which is of no use today in the new electrical vehicle or the hybrid vehicle which is going to come. How do you put this engineer to use? Now, 4 years of time has gone. It's never going to come back. Now, that's the point I'm trying to make. You're right. You have to plan your education, but education is not the formal education alone. It's a formal plus development, keeping in mind what is happening in the world. Unfortunately, the VUCA world, which is changing every day, and the education is still the same what used to be 20 years back. It has hardly changed. So therefore, you cannot rely on formal education alone to land up doing something great in this world. So that hypothesis, that's why I'm saying maybe completely wrong. We got to think about it, right? Second thing that says, first thing that we need to do with our children, if we really want our children to do well, the first thing that we need to do we know our children well? Do we really know who they are? Do they accept themselves as they are? Bigger question. Because what happens is, right from school days, everybody's telling them, you need to improve in this, you don't get marks in this subject, study this better, improve in this area. So everybody's telling a kid that you need to improve in this, you need to improve in that. Nobody's trying to find out what a child is really good at, what are the strengths of the skill. So do they accept themselves as they are? Do they use their natural talent and gifts? Is something something that as parents we need to look at. We need to understand, what is something is important to me. As a parent, I feel that this is very important for me. Is it really important for the kid? Because just because the kid is born through you does not mean that your kid will do what you have done. Your kid could be completely different from what you are. But do you understand them? Do you really try to understand their own strengths and find out what their real unique talents are? Is a question that we need to ask ourselves. I have been 5 years, 7 years back, I have put thrust my expectations onto my children. I realized it. I have two kids, two boys, one in 12th and one in 10th. And today I'm, happy to say that both of them have found their own path. Okay. But then if I want to ask you how many strengths, a poll is just come in front of you. How many strengths can you list out of your kids? Please answer that poll. Okay. Let me have a look at this poll. How many strengths of your children do you know? Let's look at it. So I'm waiting for this poll to finish. So we are having about 60% saying that they know 1 to 5 strengths of their child. Okay. Around 35% of 7 people saying that they know 6 to 12 strengths of their child. Let me tell you, ladies and gentlemen, your child is a bundle of strengths. And I'm telling you, if we sit down with your child and with you and we sit down and do a session with you, we'll list out at least 60 to 80 strengths of your kid. Guaranteed. Promise to you. Okay. That's the kind of potential that we are sitting on, but we don't know it. Even by knowing it, we have been told that this is not a strength. You show me a weakness of the child, I'll convert it to a strength. That's the beauty of a human being. And that's our belief. What we believe is every human being has got unlimited potential and unlimited strengths, but we need to focus on that. We need to understand them as strengths. For example, when my child, my elder one, very quiet guy, everybody told him that, he needs to open out, he needs to communicate. I told no, he's a deep guy. He's a loner. He can work alone and he can create huge research. He's an amazing potential of doing research and finding out stuff. He doesn't need to be talking to 100 people to do that. If he is a researcher and he's a scientist material, he will anyway, when he wins the Nobel Prize, he will talk to the whole world. His confidence will let him talk there. But becoming confident in what he is, as he is important. You have to be comfortable in your own skin. You cannot be put into a zone and say that because you're not talking, go and learn talking. Sorry, that's not the way we should deal with our children. What we should do is accept them, understand them, build their strengths, whatever their strength is. My younger one is a very talkative guy. He's a blunt guy. He's brave, he's bold, he's fearless. He goes and talks on the teacher's face. Teacher doesn't like it. Teacher comes and tells me that he's a back answer. I say he's a great guy. He's an entrepreneurial material. He can disrupt the environment. He can come up with ideas, and he's blunt. He is not scared. He can take any crisis head on and solve problems. Now, every single thing is a strength if we learn to look at it from that perspective. That's something that we as parents need to learn, because we have been groomed in a situation where we believe that, we have to improve in things. We have to find out what we are not good at. It's an opposite of that. We have to find out what we are good at and we have to hone it. That's something that we specialize in when we do our career guidance and planning with children. So what happens is, if I reverse the table, if I show you what happens in a planned career life, this is what happens. Our approach, the Deya approach, which we call it. Okay. 5 years, the best years of life happens in schooling. When the schooling is happening at the 13th year or a teenage time, okay, we identify the strengths of the child. Huge number of strengths, 50 to 100 strengths. Sitting with the parent, sitting with the child and agree to it. Yes, these are the strengths of my child. These are the strengths. The child agrees to it. The child feels positive, says, wow, I'm so much full of strengths. I never knew it. And then we say, with these strengths, what can you become? We identify career options for 50 years of life where the kid says, I want to do this. I want to create something of my life. I want to be someone here. That being someone is very important for us. So we put the dream, we design the dream in the child's mind, saying that, come on, this is something that every parent should learn. How do you design a dream in your child's mind? Give them options. Let them decide. We don't impose anything. Let the kid get excited and take a decision saying that this is what I want to do. And then once that decision is taken, the drawing the path is very easy. What education to do, how to study, what development to do, it will happen automatically. There is enough and more information available today, right? So this is exactly how Dheya works. So, when we do this, we have our own tool. We have identified, we have made our own tool, which is completely Indianized, because we don't believe that there is any tool which is coming from America which can directly be applied onto us. 99% of the tools that are used in corporate are American. And we said, let's have our own tool which is Indianized, which is norm to Indian standards, so that the accuracy and reliability is very high. And then we work with parents and students, connect the strengths to what they can be, then work with them as they walk the path. Mentors hold their hand. So the mentoring approach, in the olden days, there used to be a guru and shishya. So we rebrought the same concept as a mentor and a mentee. So every family has a mentor. So there's a community of mentors, there's a community of parents, and we all help each other grow. And that's how India can become a number one country. So we said, let's solve the problem of this country by taking a group of mentors from the mid-career stage who are all great achievers, influencers. They become the mentors. mentors. They work with the parents and students at a younger age, and they guide them and walk the path with them. Now, that's something that we work on, by which we said it's a holistic solution, a win-win solution for the entire country. And every session has to be one-on-one with a child and the mother and the father and the mentor. So you sit together and you plan and you decide and let the kid take the decision. Let the child feel confident, saying that yes, I can do something great, and let them decide, and then you hold their hand. So let them learn to stand up on their own leg. It is not about pushing them or pulling them. So somebody said a bow and an arrow. I disagree with that. Why should I be the bow? Let the kid take off on their own. They are like a rocket. Our job is just to provide that initial ignition. They take off in their direction and take the right direction and take their orbit. That's what we should be doing. Our job as parents and mentors is to give them that energy and that feeling of confidence so that they can do well in their life. So therefore, what we say is, first, you must choose an occupation. You must choose what you want to be. You must choose what you can become. And then plan your education steps, not the other way around. You should never do your education first and then decide what to do. And when I say choose an occupation, it is always possible for a child at the age of 13, 14 to take a right direction. I'm not saying you pinpoint something, because it's impossible to pinpoint. The world is changing. But yes, a direction can be taken. For example, a child is very artistic and good in drawing. Obviously, the child can take a direction of design. Now, what they do in design could be variable. But then the design is a direction that has been taken, and the child builds a dream in his mind saying that I want to be a great designer in automobiles or in products or in graphic design, animation, or whatever it may be. But then the child decides that the direction is design, and I'm going to use all my skills, all my strengths to develop myself as one of the best designers in the world and come up and have a dream of achieving something great there for a large cause. And that's how, if you design those dreams as mentors, what happens is we can actually hold the hands of these kids, and we can ensure that all of them get a direction in life and they walk with a focus with a senior mentor supporting the entire family. That's the approach of their career mentor. That's what we do with families. Okay. Why? Because everybody's occupation and work life gives you your identity. And identity is something that everybody, is alive for. Okay. If you ask yourself today, what is it that motivates you? I think identity is the biggest motivator. Of course, there's a lifestyle attached to it. You want to earn a lot of money. You want to be famous. There's a satisfaction attached to it. Now, earning money without satisfaction, I don't think anybody wants it. There are aspirations. And last but not the least, there's a fulfillment. You got to feel fulfilled in whatever you're doing. You got to feel good about what you're doing, right? And I'll warn you, be very careful of cheap advices and aptitude tests. There are lots of players in the market who will come and do a test with you, give you a report and tell you do art, science, commerce, become an engineer, become a lawyer. Please stay away from this, because this is not what is career guidance all about. Career guidance cannot be done in one session. Career guidance cannot be done by one test. Career guidance is a much more systematic approach to a hand-holding kind of an approach, which is a lifelong thing. Careers are made over a period of time. So a mentor and a mentee and a family have to be attached. They have to be speaking to each other. They have to be driving the child, because this child is going to be falling down 100 times as they walk the path. The world is changing. They will need that kind of a guidance and support of a senior mentor who's credible, who's passionate, and who's good at what they do and have seen life, and they can actually do the guidance. It cannot be done by some junior psychologist sitting as a career counselor and telling a child that you do this or you do that. It doesn't work that way. That is not career guidance. That is tomfoolery. Let's be careful about it. Okay. Career success in life is about being someone worthy. You have to become somebody you feel proud about. It is not just about getting educated and getting a degree. It's about being someone worthy, that you feel proud that I have gone and achieved something, I've done something, and I feel good about what I've contributed, whom I have contributed to. There's a cause that I'm working for. There's a purpose that I'm working for. Now, unfortunately, when we got educated in our young days, nobody talked this language to us. So what happened is we all grew up just doing education and putting a degree and then took up a job and life went on. However, in today's life, for a kid, for a youngster, having a purpose is very critical. It is not a nice to have. It is a need to have. We need to give them a purpose. We need to make them think big, think about a dream, create a dream in their mind. And we are the people as parents and mentors who can actually do that for them, because we have seen what is happening in the world. We have seen the ups and downs of life. We are the right people to sit across with them, understand them, give them a direction, give them a purpose, and give them a large cause to work on. This cause will motivate them to keep working, keep producing, and if they enjoy what they are doing, guaranteed they will make a lot of money, they will make a lot of fame. It's no doubt about it. If you enjoy what you do, if you make your passion your profession, you will do well. And if you do well, you're productive. If you're productive, you're going to make more money and you're going to be famous. So this is the simple formula. There's no doubt about it. All the olden day age 1990s time of getting into IT and going to America and coming back and buying a flat, those days are gone. Let us not live in the same old world where just because you did an IIT degree, you're going to get a very high paying job and your life is taken care of. Sorry, that doesn't work anymore. And you can ask yourself the same question. Please look around what's happening in the corporate world today. So let's not be an ostrich with a head in the sand and say that everything is hunky-dory because my child has got admission in so-and-so college. It does not work. 3 years down the line, your child comes out of college, you're still there. Unless you start planning, unless you have the plan of what the child wants to become, that education is useless. Let's not, only leave the education, only focus on education. Education is important. But along with education, what is more important is what you want to become. What is your future dream going to be? Unless you have the dream, this education is of no use. Please understand that. Okay. Now, why plan anyway? Now, when we did a research and we built this portal, say around 12, 13 years back, that time we had 22,000 choices for a person to make. And I'm not talking about just names. I'm talking about detailed research. I'm talking about so much of data, information, and about the tasks that a person has to do and understanding the tasks of that work. We put in all this data and research, connected it to the person, said so many choices are there. So why be in a crowd? Why be only an engineer when you can be so many more things? There are so many educational choices. We are not aware of this. Many parents are not aware about it. So many entrance exams are there. So many institutes are there. Everything seems to be changed completely. Careers are changing. Streams are changing. Education points are changing. So we have to plan. We cannot let it, just go. Please be careful. Plan now. Plan as early as possible. Why? Because your child has unlimited potential. Your child deserves a great career. You have to give purpose to that education. Every parent deserves a great return on investment, whatever you're making. And not only about money, it's about time, it's about energy, it's about emotions. You're only talking about your child's education. Come on, let's give it a good deal. Let's give it a good thought. Let's plan it properly. That's my point to you as parents. Now, when we talk about work, what we did is, when we did this research on 22,000 occupations, now I'm going to explain to you. When we talk about work, there are two aspects to it. The first aspect is, will this person be happy doing this work or not? For example, you have a kid who is very silent, sits down in one corner, likes to do research work, likes to get into depth. If I tell this kid that you get into a role which requires you every day to meet new people, do marketing, for example, in a marketing kind of a role, because marketing gives you a lot of money, so-called, and this guy does MBA in marketing and lands up into a marketing job. Would this person be happy? Would this person like to do that job? He may be able to do it. He's intelligent, capable of doing it, has scored 90% in his MBA and done well also. So he may do it well also. But will he enjoy it is my question. So my first point is, if you are not going to enjoy what you're doing, if you're not happy while doing what you're doing, that is a big mistake. That's a misalignment. That is the base, that is the core. That's called a hygiene. So to get the hygiene right, we divided work into 12 categories. And these categories could be overlapping, but we still had a categories. For example, what you see in the slide, you have process-based careers, you have research-based careers, analysis-based careers, people-based careers, creative careers. There are different types of work. The content is only that. But then the core part of the work involves that. If the core part of the work involves research, then if I am a quiet person who sits down in one corner, it's something that will make me satisfied and happy. But that is only one part of the work that is going to give me satisfaction. Apart from this type, then we move on to something called, the field of work. I've got 12 categories of types of work. I've got more than 22 fields of work. There are 12 trending areas. There are 6 futuristic areas and many more fields coming up now. So if we understand this and we're talking to a 9th standard student, 7 years, 10 years down the line, which is the field which is going to be in demand? If I look at that field and I fix this type into that, suddenly I've got too many options. Every field of work has got every type of work, almost. Therefore, the number of choices are huge. Every field has got every type. So you can fit yourself, knowing your type of work, you can fit yourself into any field. But we need to understand this work concept very well. It's a very different concept. What the type of work that you are suitable for comes from your personality. We understand what is your personality, according to that select your type of work. Looking at the future of work, look at the field field of work, looking at your aspirations, what you want to do, what is your skills, what is your interest, what is your passion, connect it to that field and understand whether the field has a future or not, and then connect the type into it, and then you see a beautiful mixture comes out of it. Then build a purpose, build a cause, build a dream, build an aspiration. That is what we are here for as mentors. We help them design those aspirations in their mind. I want to become somebody great in this. I want to be sitting in United Nations and writing policy papers for the entire world. Now tell this to a 9th standard kid who's a very deep, social services kind of a person who likes to help people. I just make it aspirational. This kid gets excited. He does everything to go to that identity. They go and top the exams. They go and do well in their entrances. They get selected for everything. Everything happens beautifully because they have thought, they have come in at the right time. They have enough time to plan. They are prepared and they have made a plan which is fail proof. That means if I don't get into the best college, what is my second best? What is my third best? What is my fourth best? All directed towards that identity or that destination which I have decided based on my due diligence. That means when I say this child, and we are the people who enable the child to take that decision. Now this process takes time. It does not happen like this. It is not one report or one half an hour session that can do this. It's a very detailed process. It takes a lot of effort, a lot of time, and a lot of involvement of a mentor with the family, not only the child, with the mother, father, child sitting together, all of us work together, and then only this kind of a thing can happen. This is the process of career guidance and career planning, which is detailed, systematic, personalized, futuristic, methodical, and something which is impactful, which is going to impact the person very strongly, so that this kid tomorrow goes out with a beaming chest. I'm going to achieve something great in this world. Every kid deserves this. Every kid in India deserves this, and this is our belief on which we are working as a community and trying to impact this entire country, which is very different from how we grew up. When I grew up, we had only 4 options: arts, science, commerce, and whatever, engineering, doctor, and chartered accountant, and arts. That's it. And just because you're good in studies, become an engineer. Just because you become an engineer, do work in engineering, and that's how life went on. Today, it's much, much more different than that. We need to give our children what they deserve, and they deserve a brilliant, bright future. And that's my request to all of you as parents. Because if you look at the world of work, the world of work is changing very fast. You got all the new trends that are listed in the slide: automation, personalization, time compression, greening of the world, miniaturization, ruralization in India. It's coming up. So next 10 years, you're going to see a big drive towards ruralization, improvement of the village economy. So that's an area which people are working on. So with these trends happening, you can actually fit their type and field into what they would like to create, what cause they would like to contribute to, and build a dream in their minds which will ignite them to put in their energies towards studies, be good in studies, get into the best colleges, earn good degrees, while studying in colleges, do part-time work, build their skills, build their personality, always dreaming of that destination that they decided early in life. That is something that we are talking about. If I'm just showing you certain future scenarios. This is what we picked up from. We've got a lot of research. We have collected a lot of data from various organizations, and like World Economic Forum, and then the Futures Agency. And this is Gerd Leonard's a slide which we're putting up here, which shows the future scenarios. The possibilities are immense. Our children can do amazingly well. They can create beautiful world. India can be a world leader, and which is going to become. That is what we are dreaming of. If Indian children and Indian parents today start proactively thinking about next 20 years and starts designing their careers based on what's going to happen in the next 20 years, we are going to lead the world, and that's our dream, and we're going to achieve that. It's going to happen, provided we all cooperate, we all believe in what we are doing, and put in our energy in the right direction. Okay, so that's something that I wanted to share with you. So we are saying that now, if we are looking at the positive side, if we do this, we're going to avoid failed careers, we're going to avoid unhappy careers. Just imagine some kid getting into engineering because he's good in maths and science, but not enjoying that studies and not enjoying that work. Why would you want to spoil his life? He can do amazing things in other places, so why can't we decide what a kid loves to do and select that futuristic area and allow this kid to dream in that direction, give them a right path, work with them to get into the best and make a best career of them. So that is exactly what we are talking about. Most importantly, the earlier you plan, more is the time you get for growth. You get a headway. If I start in 9th standard, 13 years of age is when we start, you get a huge headway to prepare and plan, because these 6 years are the foundation years. If we focus in these foundation years to build their personality and develop themselves, then they will actually hit the peak when they reach the age of 25 to 30. And that is what we want with our youngsters. They should be peaking in the 30s. Early 30s, they should be peaking in their life. And then they can do what they want to do. They can be entrepreneurs, they can be serial entrepreneurs, they can do what they want to do. That's the dream. Okay. So our proposal to you is, let Dheya and parents work together as partners. Let us build the students for extraordinary careers. My entire presentation today was to tell you that career is not just about educating and putting them into a job. No, it is about believing that every kid of yours deserves an extraordinary career. They are meant to do something great. Let us believe in that. Because if you don't believe in it, you will land up putting your child into a mediocre career in his life. Would you want to do that? So please do that. So primary strategy is, let's plan early. Let's all get together. Let us build a plan, understand them well, help them to know themselves well, build a direction for them, let them design a dream for them, and then handhold them when they walk the path, partnering together. The parents community, the mentor, everybody together help these youth to reach their destination. This is how we work in there. Okay. So our model and research is quite simple. We say that every child has got an unlimited potential. We connect it to occupations, and we also connect it to aspirations of the family and the person. We build a lot of awareness about strengths in the first step. Based on the strengths, we help them take a decision and plan, and then help them develop themselves as we mentor and handhold them. This is the entire process of career guidance and planning that we do. Okay. This is based on a 7D model, which talks about, discovering your strengths, taking a direction to your destination, and in between is the path where you build a dream, a desire, you design a path and develop yourself according to the designed path. So that is the entire 7D model that we work on. The entire processes, our entire sessions are documented. There are workbooks, there are journals, the sessions are recorded, there are feedbacks taken. It's a process, and this process is long. We have career development meets, we meet up with parents, we have a positive parenting community, alumni meets, and we do a lot of work to ensure that every kid actually reaches their goal. This is how, as mentors, we stand to what we say. We commit ourselves and we say we're going to work with this family, we're going to work with this person, and ensure that they keep achieving their milestones and they keep reaching where they have to reach. That is the entire work. Of course, we have a lot of other activities that we do towards this. We do thinking skills programs, self-directed learning programs, career success skills programs, employment programs, basically so that the time of every kid is utilized productively during the developmental stage. Of course, we do the planning, but after the planning, when the development starts off, it's important for the kid to utilize the time productively, because every time you may be studying for your exam, but just studying for the exam is not okay. You need to prepare yourself from intellectually, physically, mentally, spiritually, all that, and value systems. Very important. So everything has to be integrated. There has to be a holistic approach to developing yourself. This is how we work with them. So we have these three services that we offer. There's Compass, Navigator, and Discover. So normally Navigator is the entire planning that we do, which costs about 30,000 rupees, but then this is a lifelong kind of a thing. And this includes the career planning, which is their Compass, which is giving a direction. Now, this is something that, is available on our website. So you can go through it. And my suggestion is, please look at it very seriously, because this is not just some kind of a, one-time session or something like that. It's a long-term approach. It's a lifetime approach. Before you invest anything into education, be very clear as to what is the dream destination of the child, and then only, along with a established system and a mentor who's supporting you, you must take a decision to get into any kind of a higher education. Okay. If you look at our case studies, we have amazing case studies. We've been working in this field for the last 15 years. Dheya is now in its 15th year, and we have been working on this model for a long time. And we have hundreds and thousands of students today who are enjoying their life. They're doing what they love to do. What you see here is a student who in 8th standard, was a very indisciplined student who came to us. And this kid had a problem here, alopecia, no hair on his body. And the person was very, very dynamic. And today he is a doctor. He's working in a place. He's done well for himself. And he has a dream that he wants to start a chain of hospitals to treat alopecia patients. Now that dream is still on for him. That's the beauty of designing dreams for these kids. Okay, I'm talking about a case which was way back in, say, 2009, 2010. We deal with management institutes, engineering colleges, and whatever I spoke is all based on hardcore data and evidence. We're not just speaking of the hat. I've got research with me. We've got data collected from these places. That we did interest test with BITS Pilani, Hyderabad Hyderabad, and we found that the students of fourth year were very interested. Maximum interest was in literary areas. They were interested in management. They were interested in creative areas, and technical was the last. So when we asked them why have you got into engineering, they said because we were good in maths and science. Our parents said get into engineering, and BITS Pilani was a good college. Same thing, SIBM management students coming to do MBA have no clue why they are doing MBA. Now we did induction programs with them. So we work right from 13 years till 55 years. We deal with early careers, we deal with mid career. So we have the same concept. Know yourself well, decide your identity, and create a path for it. You will be able to do it. You should always know what your core strengths are and be damn sure about it. And let not the world tell you that you're not good at this or you're not good at that. Be very confident from within. The internal power of a human being is amazing. If we understand that and we're able to connect it to the world, rest everything falls in place, is our belief. This is how we work. Okay. These are our contact details. With this much, I complete my part of the presentation and I open the house to question and answers. Let me have a look at the polls here. Okay. So we have some results of the polls. Let me announce that. So the first poll was, is your child clear about what they want to be in life in the world of work? So we had 32% saying unsure, 32% saying no. So we have a good 64% who actually say that the children are not clear about what they want to do, and about 37% said yes. Okay. Now when we did this research, we found 78% of our data said that children were not at all clear to what they want to do. 22% said they are very clear, but when we went and interviewed those 22%, they told us I want to be engineer, I want to be doctor. And then we asked them, what do you mean by engineer or doctor? No clue. They're all peer pressured, influenced keywords. They just heard those words. Some people say, my child wants to be in IT. What is IT? I mean, come on, that's not what it is. So that was a problem that we found. What do you expect from the investment you're making in your children's education? Settling down, 13%. Okay, the maximum here is to develop as a human being. Wow, that's amazing. So that's a common expectation of today's parents, the value systems I'm talking about. We want our children to be good human beings. Okay, be happy. So we have about 50% people also be happy human beings. 50%, more than 50%. Then we have only 16% want their children to be super achievers. 16%. And this is something which I want to point out here. You know, we are constrained in our thinking. Why don't we want our children to be super achievers? Every child deserves to be a super achiever. Whether he becomes one or not, no marks, no studies, nobody's external marks can decide that your child can be a super achiever or not. It's your own thinking. Our beliefs can make us super achievers. Okay, 4 people said get a degree, 6 people said survive competition. What do you mean by develop my child as a fantastic human being? This is interesting. So we got here again, be happy in life gets the largest percentage. 20% people said be happy in life. Add value to society, 14%. Person with value system, 15%. Wow. Make an impact on something, 13%. So amazing answers. I think we have got a very good audience out here. Thank you so much for these responses. How do you normally decide a career option for your child? Based on aptitude test. Dangerous. Very dangerous. 79% people have said that they decide careers based on aptitude test. I'm telling you, this is the biggest mistake that you can make, because I'm damn good at maths. I'm scoring 99% in math. But does it mean that I become a great scientist? I can get into a scientific institute with my merit. Will I enjoy that work? I don't know. If I'm a person who's restless, cannot sit in one place by nature, I like to move around, I'm action oriented, I may not like to sit down at one place. I may be damn good at doing maths, but be very careful. Just based on aptitude test, never take a decision. It's a big mistake that you will make. Based on child's interests or passion, 79%. Fantastic. That's very nice. So that's a very good thing to do. If you're deciding something based on child interest, you may not go wrong. But then understanding a child's interest also is very difficult, because today's children get influenced by what they see around. You don't know whether it's a real interest or it is just a wishful thinking. Do they know the reality? Have they checked the reality? Sometimes taking a third party is important, because ghar ki murgi dal barabar. Remember that. You know, your child may not listen to you, but a person sitting across the table as a senior person, sitting across and explaining the same thing, children understand that very well. So it's important to have a mentor who does a validation of the entire system and holds your hand while the child is walking the path. The child connects better. So understanding the interest and passion is not so simple as it sounds like. Based on family business, based on high paying jobs, based on education. So I think a lot of synergy is there in the thought process of this audience and what they are thinking about, which is a good thing. There is a huge investment of money that goes into child's higher education. It is time we need to work on what will be the returns on our investment. Yes, we must focus on ROI is what 75% people say. It's just a sunk cost is what 25% people say. Okay. So amazing. So right now, let let me open this house to question and answers. I'm going to enable the attendee mics. Okay, so you can ask your questions and I'll be happy to answer it. If you find it difficult to ask the question, you can ask it on the chat box also. We'll answer it there. Yes, this video is being recorded. This entire session is being recorded. We'll be editing it and putting it up on the YouTube channel of Deya, so you can view this presentation on YouTube. If anybody has any questions, I'll be very happy to answer it. You can please ask your questions. I've enabled your mics. So if there are no questions, okay. So if there are no questions, how can we reach out to contribute? Purnima, in what way do you want to become a mentor with us, or do you want any help for your child? In what way are you asking? Okay, I think there are not any questions coming out. So let me conclude this session by first expressing my utmost gratitude. Yes, you can get to meet the counselor. See, with the present lockdown situation, we are doing all our sessions online and it's equally effective because we do it on Zoom. We do it with the parents sitting there. So we have a complete, conversation and all the documents are editable. So the actual typing happens on the screen. So it's very, very, effective and impactful is what we have seen. Because now all of us are locked down inside and we are still doing our sessions and it's happening very nicely. So it's not a problem. We do sessions in US, Oman, Qatar, that way only. Don't worry about it. And mentor is going to be connected with you. We don't call them counselors, they are mentors. Mentor will be connected with you throughout. Once the mentor gets connected, this mentor will be in touch with you. The email ID, phone number, everything is going to be there and we constantly monitor as a system. So there's a scheduling system. You'll be getting a portal as a student and everybody will be connected together. So that's how it works. Yeah, so Mukesh Malviya says they have only main 4 to 5 streams. So Nidhi, you're a 9th standard. You have a lot of professions that you think you're unable to focus. This is a normal state of most of the students. What I would suggest is get a proper career planning done. Come to us, do your assessment, understand your strengths well, sit with a mentor, take a career direction. If you get a direction right, you will have your path clear in front of you. But if you don't have the direction right, if you have the destination is not there in your mind, you may do any studies, it is not going to matter. So it is better to decide something now. Focus and decide it and then gun on. Be the best in that. Okay, Nidhi? So get your parents to sign in for this program and then we can help you with this. So Aditya Anand says, what would be my steps I achieve a goal already decided? You got to develop yourself, Aditya. First of all, you have just decided an education. It is not your career. Career starts after education. And in the career, you got to develop an identity for yourself. You have to decide what is that identity you want to create for yourself. If you decide that, according to that, you can plan. We can help you do that. Come to us, get the assessment done, sit along with a mentor, design a dream in your mind based on your strengths, and then design a path to reach there. Just because you have done a degree doesn't mean that is career. That's not a career. Career starts after the degree. You got to work in that field. You got to develop a name for yourself in that field. Whatever you want to do. You getting my point? Yeah. So I have questions from Nidhi and from Aditya. Is there anyone else who would like to ask a question? Okay. So I have Mustafa Lilamwala. My son is 20 years old. He's doing BWalk in automobile but not sure of future. Absolutely, sir. You need to sit down together, understand what the strengths of your child are, connect them to a destination, irrespective of what education he's doing today. We can always do, one is called the education, one is called the personal development. Both together will build a school around the kid to ensure that he gets to his destination. We'll have to work on that. That's how we can decide. Sure, Ashish, we can have a one-to-one interaction anytime. How do I as parents solve his future? I told you the method. It's a simple concept of planning. We have to plan the career of our children. A proper plan with a destination in mind. If you don't know the destination, any education is not of any use. Okay. Thank you so much. How about careers that are not mature now, but maybe absolutely. There are trending careers. For example, you have, careers in say 3D printing or in augmented reality or in biophotonics. These are all areas which are going to come up, but we don't know about it. Blockchain technology is going to take off very, very in a big way. And we are not completely aware as to how it's going to shape up in the future. But these are going to be across the spectrum of the industry. So we got to be aware about it. But then you cannot just take a keyword and get yourself attached there. That's not the way to do it. You got to understand your strengths. You got to understand your type of work, your field of work, how you're going to, what identity you want to create there, build a dream in your mind, make your destination strong, then build a path. Now, this work requires somebody to sit and plan it out along. That's how it happens. Do you understand this, Purnima, what I'm saying? For example, artificial intelligence is just a keyword. Artificial intelligence is going to be there in every field. It's going to be there in health, IT. It's going to be there in manufacturing. It's going to be there in every single field. It's going to be there in food technology. Everywhere AI is going to be there. So you cannot just say AI. You have to understand what identity you want to create for yourself. What is your interest? What is your passion? What is the dream that you have? Create the dream. Then design a path. Not before that. Of course, there are trending areas and futuristic areas, but that needs to be understood in the right perspective. Okay. So this is the understanding that I wanted to share with the parents. I hope this session has given some insight to you about how career planning should be done and when it should be done. So with that, I close the session. Thank you so much for having given me a patient hearing, and thank you very much for this session, and hope to see you sometime soon. Good night.